So monetizing your hobbies is a terrible idea. And as someone who has struggled with this for years now, happy 5-year YouTube anniversary to me, by the way, I have thoughts, feelings, and frankly, like, hopefully some good advice for you guys, like all my creative people out here who may or may not feel like some active or even passive pressure to monetize your hobbies. First things first, the idea of monetizing your hobby is like quite genuinely in antithesis to having a hobby, which according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary is a pursuit outside one's regular occupation, engaged in especially for relaxation. Okay, so if it's for relaxation, monetizing it means it's no longer for relaxation. It is now work, right? And yeah, I know, we've all heard that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. And like, look, I know this for a fact because I am the queen of having the dream job. I'm serious. Working at Colonial Williamsburg in any capacity, whenever you would tell someone, yeah, I work at Colonial Williamsburg, it was always met with, oh my gosh, that's my dream. I would love to work there. You sure about that?
You sure about that?
Because it's not like working at Colonial Williamsburg was just sitting around drinking tea, talking history and costumes and shit. It's customer service, telling people where the bathrooms are. It's telling children to, hey, take my pincushion out of your mouth. That's dangerous. I'm not kidding. Or telling a mother to get their son out of the pile of horse manure because that's not a prop, it is actually horse shit. Also very true. It's low wages. It's frankly abusive fiefdoms where you will quite literally quit your job because you were denied a $1 raise because, quote, you need to work on your stitching more.
You sure about that? That's why?
And that was only because someone got mad that I was just asked to do my job by someone else. And I am dead ass serious, guys. And like, I was thinking about this with like this whole video. I did so like as a part of my job at CW. I was the apprentice milliner and mantua maker for years. I also didn't like spend as much time sewing at home, or if I was sewing at home, it was so I could have like things to wear to work. It wasn't really shared in any public way because of the situation within my job. So like, while there were definitely like blurred lines of like me taking work home, it wasn't as much as people might have thought. And I also like was able to just walk away from my job, like go home, do something else. It really wasn't my hobby at that point in time in the same way that it became my hobby like when I started working at American Duchess. But like even when I worked, okay, going back to the whole dream job thing, like even when I worked at American Duchess, like everyone also was like, oh my God, the dream job. And to be fair, I thought it was the dream job for a while and I was grossly mistaken. People assumed that it was a dream job because they just assumed all we did was sew all day and like have like fun, like girly time. Like, oh my gosh, what fun. You guys just get to sew and make me costumes all day. Like, no, we didn't. When we wrote the first book about dressmaking, our work hours were 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. And so I would get into the office around 11 a.m. and then I would spend like the first couple of hours packing orders because there was literally no one else to do it. And then after lunch, for whatever time was left, that was what we spent working on the book. And like, frankly, a particularly stormy winter, and often it would get dark by like 5 p.m. Most of our time and most of my time spent at American Duchess was actually doing really run-of-the-mill administrative work, like customer service emails, planning social media posts, dealing with supply chain issues, just really typical 9-to-5 office stuff. And yeah, like while sewing like did occasionally happen like at work, more often than not, it was still done in off hours for fun. Like it became my hobby. My hobby was just related to my job, but it wasn't my job. So it was still very much an escape. Now I do have a dream job and I fully admit that. Like I was forced into it. Like it wasn't my plan to do this full time. Like, but you know, when you go viral and then you get fired for it in 2020, like what other choice do you have? But like for all intents and purposes, it is a dream. Like I am my own boss. I have a lot of creative freedom. And like so many doors have been opened for me by doing this job, but it's still a job. I still have bad days and I still have good days.
Am I listening to Onyx Storm? Yes, you're welcome. It's the only way I can get through actually filming this B-roll because I really don't want to do this right now.
And frankly, there's a lot of insecurity with being a full-time content creator or a small business owner and freelance creative. And I'm not just talking about like government instability stuff, which affects all of us and it has affected every creator you know. I'm talking about dumb shit like sponsors pulling ads or your old agents still owing you over $6,000 in unpaid sponsorship fees, Semaphore. Videos not performing well that have a direct impact on your income. Plus, there's like other weird issues like concerns around privacy and like people gossiping about you on the internet like you're not a real person. And like in this deep fear of Googling yourself. Or in my case, receiving hate mail for the First Lady of Utah. You know, like I'm really me, the First Lady of Utah. Bro, no. Anyways, the other thing is like there's like this feeling, right? And I am sure like all of you who are creatives and freelancers and stuff, like you'll identify with this. It's like this feeling that you're on a like runaway train and you're just not really sure when the tracks are gonna run out. And my friend Sam, who has been working on my thumbnails and like she's so talented, she's done like the Victorian animations that you've seen in my videos, like she's incredible. I adore her. We were talking about this video and she was saying, you know, like it's hard to take breaks too because you get so nervous that you're gonna miss out on something like money or an opportunity that you won't get back. And it's the same as like a creator. Like if I have had so many days where I've just been basically frozen in place because if I'm not working, I'm not making money, but I can't work, I don't want to work, I need to take some time off, and like, but then you feel like this guilty of like, but if I don't do it, someone else is going to do it, and then I'm gonna miss my opportunity, and then I'm gonna be like in the dumpster like alone, and I won't be able to take care of all my dogs. Like you just spiral out of control, which is why therapy is important. Anyways. Oh my God. We are obviously talking a lot about mental health. It's really hard to not discuss mental health when you're discussing topics like monetizing hobbies, being self-employed, making money on the internet, where, you know, your income is extremely questionable at times and not always 100% secure. And so with that, I want to tell you all about the sponsor of this video, which is BetterHelp. I've worked with BetterHelp for a while now because they really believe in trying to make therapy accessible, which is something that I really truly believe in. If you've never tried BetterHelp, the way it works, you go online, you answer some questions, and within about 24 to 48 hours, they will pair you up with a therapist that they think is a good fit for your needs. And from there, you can work with that therapist however it works for you, whether it's through text messages or phone calls or video calls, like it's whatever works with your schedule and your time. So that way you're not having to go into an office or meet in person or do anything like that. Plus, the other nice thing about BetterHelp is that finding a therapist that really truly works for you isn't always like the first one's the best one, right? Like sometimes you have to like change therapists to find the best fit for you. And so what BetterHelp does is they make that actually really easy to do, which is a few click of buttons, you can be assigned a brand new therapist, so that way you can really find a therapist that works with you and your needs and who gets what you need. If you want to give BetterHelp a try, you can use the link in my description below. That's betterhelp.com/Abby. And there you'll get a discount for your first month of therapy. And with that, I want to say a huge thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this channel, for making sure my mental health is secure, because you pay me and I can buy you dog treats. Yes. And with that, let's get back to the topic at hand. Hi. And frankly, it doesn't help that a lot of like how to be a YouTuber or how to be a content creator channels, which most of them are shit, by the way. They're not actually YouTubers who are successful in doing like YouTubing stuff and then like building off of that. They literally have just become successful repeating and regurgitating the same bullshit that other channels have put out there. Just by the way, proceed with caution. One of the like things that I've heard that like, honest to God, guys, like it sent me into a spiral for years, was that most YouTube channels will only last 5 years. So if you don't think that I wasn't like coming up to this deadline for years, like panicking that like my career was gonna be over in 5 years, like, poof. Colin and Samir, you frankly owe people an apology for saying that. But other creator like how-tos encourage creators to batch film or grind out weekly or even daily or every other day videos, which regardless of what platform you're on is just a one-way high-speed train ticket to burnout. It's just like terrible advice. Like it's good advice if you want to grow quickly, but it's bad advice if you want to maintain this as like a job and a career and like not die in the process. Because what people don't acknowledge is that being a full-time content creator is strategy. And part of that strategy is just finding the balance between feeling creatively fulfilled and paying the bills. And this, I think, honestly goes for every freelancer or creative job in any capacity. And like the other thing is too, like beyond just like the capitalistic white noise crap of content, go. Putting that aside, if we talk about hobbies again, what I don't think we're good at about vocalizing is that for so many people, our hobbies, whether they're creative or not, are actually directly connected with our sense of self. They are a practice of manifestation of our essence, our spirit. And when monetization comes into play in like any capacity, now you've put yourself in this position where you've accidentally monetized essentially a part of your soul and frankly your sense of self-worth, which means that when something fails, and I'm using that term lightly, it feels so much more personal and devastating. And failure can be like a product not selling, YouTube ranking your video 10 out of 10 with a quippy, this sucks, people don't seem to want to watch your video. Too bad. Or like just a TikTok or a reel getting no engagement to the point that you wonder if you've been shadow banned. It's not just like, oh, oops, I sent the wrong email, or oh, oops, had a bad day. Like it carries a heavier weight in your spirit, which is harder to recover from. And like, I guess like that's why like when I hear people talk about like monetizing your hobby and like people promoting the idea of monetizing your hobby or monetizing your craft or what you love.
We're to sell just 5 of these a week from now until October. It's $12,600 per.
So often nowadays, like that is code for like you should start a TikTok or a YouTube or an IG account, like get famous and make tons of money. Like, cool, sounds great. It's not that simple. Like it's not. It's not just turning on the camera and hitting record and then putting it on the internet. Really good videos have multiple camera angles, careful sound, lighting, and most importantly, quality storytelling. And all of that comes into play like with just a simple video. Making videos is a creative pursuit. Even if it's just a 30-second TikTok. Some of the best TikToks are so incredibly creative. I mean, like the beauty of like Vine was really good Vines could tell a story in just a few seconds.
Johnny has 19 bottles of dish soap and he gets Gina. Wait, why does Johnny have so many soaps? Mind your business, Dave.
It takes a lot of skill to make a good video like that. It is a skill. And if you don't believe me for whatever reason, like just go to any big YouTuber, right, who's been around for several years. Go and watch their early video, go and watch the latest video, and you will physically see the shift in skill and quality. Like it will be obvious. This is something that every single craft or art maker who is also a content creator like deals with on a regular basis. Like so many of us just started off wanting just to share something we enjoy, build community, and have a good time, like sewing. But then like when your videos become more successful than you anticipated, then all of a sudden like you're put into this really weird position of monetizing your hobby, operating a business, and it's no longer just like for fun. It's now how you pay your bills, including other freelancers or employees. Now all of a sudden the projects you decide to make are dictated by what's trending online. What will the thumbnail and title be and how fast you can make it and more. And then all of a sudden you're not making art for art's sake. You're making art to feed a fickle algorithm. And frankly, what made your hobby a hobby, the fun part, it's gone. And then to add to all of that fuckery, this can also result in you making things that you don't need or even want, or just like a whole lot of stuff that you have no use for, like period. Like where does it go? I've seen so many incredible channels where you can tell that they're just repeating projects because that's what's performed so well. And so that's what the algorithm pushes out. And it makes you question, like, why are you making another one of those things? Like you've already made that. Why are you doing this bigger? You already have that. Like as a creative person, I watch that and go, wouldn't you be sick of doing that? Like I would be sick of doing that. And this applies to like selling your craft for customers too, like whether it's in bulk or on a commission basis. Like so often anything artistically inclined is frankly horrifically undervalued, and it makes it impossible for many people to scale up a business to the point of sustainability. Not to mention that even just having a small Etsy shop requires just a ton of creative energy, okay? Not just to making the product, right guys? Like that's just like the one thing over there, but you have to photograph the product, you have to name the product, you have to write the product descriptions, which means the title of the product, the description, all need SEO, okay? It needs to be search engine optimized. So that way when people go into Etsy and they type in what they want, it will pop up. Names, idea concepts, then marketing your business, like whatever it is on social media. All of that takes so much time and energy and also money. Etsy, shop people, I see you, okay? I see you. This is for you too. Guys, when I used to do the social media posts for American Duchess, the struggle to just like have a voice that felt authentic, not only to me as a person, but to the audience, to our customers, but then to also make sure that the posts are not repetitive. Oh my, seriously, those days where I would schedule, oh my God, I would just be wiped out. And you would think it's like easy. You just schedule an Instagram post. How hard could it be? It was difficult. It was so hard. Oh my, I don't miss that. So every small business you see, guys, whether it's a simple Etsy storefront or even an antique booth at a flea market or just a small shop in your town or a booth at like a craft festival, it requires so much creative work to operate that if they sell anything that they've made themselves, like it really truly speaks to their passion and endurance. And I'm so genuinely impressed by people who can do that, because this is something that I've struggled with, and I know so many other creators and friends who have struggled with this too. It's genuinely taken me like 5 years to come to terms with the fact that frankly I don't really like making sewing videos. Their performance on my channel is iffy at best. Most of my popular videos are video essays, which is great. I love making those. They have like their own creative thing, and I can like, when I can really like go ham and like silliness factor, I love it. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. But like when I do a more creative video or a making video of any capacity, like if the title and thumbnail like don't fit like YouTube's algorithmic expectation of what videos perform well on my channel, like YouTube won't push the video out to viewers. Look at my most recent video about making corset boning. It has a decent click-through rate. It has excellent viewer retention. Comments are great, engagement's great, but it is 10 out of 10. Why? Because it's just not being pushed out to YouTube's algorithm, and YouTube doesn't know who to push it out to. So by the way, if you haven't seen that video, go watch. It is a very good time, I promise. It is hysterically funny. My nose hairs are gone!
You know what to fix that? Probably be.
But like, what that means is that like, I have failed to communicate effectively to a computer. It's that simple. When we take into account then all of like that instability and then the amount of time it spent on sewing and filming and editing and like the cost of materials to sew something, to make something, and then like what I make back in AdSense, like quite simply guys, again, because this ultimately is a business decision, like the math was not mathing. It is not financially sustainable. And then like the other thing is like by monetizing hobbies, at least for me, is that like I can no longer enjoy parts about it that are actually extremely important to me, that honestly I probably wouldn't have realized were important to me if I hadn't been making sewing videos. So like in a weird way, I am like grateful for this lesson, which is one of the reasons why I thought about making this video. Like I want to share this lesson with you guys because I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I want you guys to think about it this way. Think about your hobbies and like the rituals that center around them. Like for me, I love like putting on an audiobook. I get into like my ADHD hyper-focused zone and I like sew for 8 hours straight and only come up for air and water when it's time for dinner, or Jimmy comes down the stairs and is like, yo, have you had water today? And I'm like, yeah, my bad. It's that time for me to like flex this like creative muscle, and I think about things and I think about my feelings and things going on in my life. Like I've mentioned in the video in January, like the past couple years, my family has really gone through some stuff, and like we've been going through some stuff right now. Like we had to put Penny to sleep in March. You know, I have a family member who's in hospice. Like, you know, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And like, you know, like our community took a really big loss like a few weeks ago when Thistle Katie passed away, and like we've all been sad. We've all been going through stuff. And I realized like sewing was how I processed a lot of that. It's my time to think about things. It's my time to think about creative projects and what inspires me, to just honestly allow my brain to kind of go, whoo. And like she just kind of like gets up in there and like swirls around, but then like I'm also able to have the other half of my brain like just focus on this one thing. So I have like that half is like over there like cooking, right? And that quiet time, like that creative hobby quiet time, is just as important to my mental health as my therapist sessions are. And I've worked through so much shit at my sewing table, like so much shit. By monetizing it through media like production, all of that gets taken away. I can't just sew something. I have to think like a director, a screenwriter, a lighting and camera operator. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that creative work. I love making videos. Like, I love being able to kind of get into the meat of it, but I can't do both at the same time. Like, to film a sewing video, I'm literally thinking about sewing when I'm setting up the shot. And then when I'm sewing, I'm thinking about setting up the next shot. Like, I can't fully immerse myself in either creative project, side of the creative project, and I can't enjoy either. Then all of a sudden, like, because of that, like, these little things that shouldn't be a big deal, like, they just sort of build up into insurmountable tasks. And then I just kind of don't get anything done. And I'm talking about things like putting on makeup and fixing my hair. Cause like when I sew on camera, like I want to have some sort of makeup on, right? And like not look like I completely just crawled out of a dumpster. And I like grew to resent that too, because like that's actually part of the fun is like I just get up, maybe put a bra on, maybe not, and just like roll downstairs and just start going, baby. Just start crafting, start sewing, making messes and shit. Like I don't want to have to like put on mascara to do that. Ew. I also don't want to see myself on camera without makeup all the time, you know? Like, also, like, I'm Bane. I know that. Like, you know, it's just a struggle. It's just a struggle. And so, like, yeah, I just, like, really grew to resent it. And sewing lost a lot of joy, which sucked. I cannot even tell you guys how long I've gone, like, without sewing. Just so long. I was actually talking about this like with a friend of mine, and I realized like by talking to her, like for some of you all who may not fully grasp this, though I feel like most of you guys watching this video, I would hope are watching this going, oh my God, I feel so seen. Oh my God, preach. Yes, Abby. Like, I hope that's what's coming off here. That's my goal and my intention. But for those of you who might not like fully grasp it, hopefully this comparison works for you. It might not, I don't know. A good comparison is actually like working out, like lifting weights, right? Like so for safety and recovery, usually people when they lift weights or they work out, you have like your upper body days and your lower body workouts, and they're usually separated with days of rest between different cycles. So like you'll do like upper body, lower body rest, upper body, lower body, you know, like that kind of thing. Because like if you only focus on just the upper body or the lower body, there will be an imbalance physically. Like you will see an imbalance. And like if you don't take rest days when working out or playing sports, like you are at risk of a serious injury.
The most sleep that you can get, that is the only way that you're going to get back to 100%.
Creativity is the same way. Running a business, even at its core, is a creative endeavor. So when you bring your creative hobby into that mix, it's draining on that muscle. It's extremely draining on that muscle group. And you have to have rest days in between. And hobbies are an important part of rest, or at least they're supposed to be. So like with all that being said, let's just say, for the sake of conversation here, that your hobby is monetized and it's successful. Like what happens if you want to do your hobby for yourself, like it started out as? You feel guilty because you're wasting time. Thanks, capitalism. Or you decide to not do a project that you're really excited about because it won't perform well, and you decide to do something that you're not actually that excited about because it will be more popular. Feels like you're wasting time, losing money, and being useless because we live in a fucking capitalistic hellscape. Hooray!
The bad guy is capitalism.
And all because you just want to take a minute to do something you love for yourself without feeling pressure of outward success. Because hobbies are a beautiful window into a person's world, into their soul. Like we learn so much about people through their hobbies. It's why it's one of the most commonly asked questions when you first meet someone new. Knowing if someone likes to sew, knit, bake, garden, play sports, read, play video games, play D&D, whatever. Like our hobbies are a window into our souls, and it's one of the ways we build community. And when we monetize that, then a piece of our essence is now up for consumption by the beast of capitalism. And whether we like it or not, that means a certain level of our self-worth is tied up into that monetization. You can't just clock out from monetizing a hobby like you can clock out of an office job.
Wow, okay. All right, let's all go home. Come on. See you all tomorrow.
And this is why myself and so many other creators have made either like drastic pivots or slow pivots in the type of content that we create. It's ultimately about protecting our creativity and preventing burnout so that way we can keep doing what we love for longer. Like, okay, let me tell you guys, like little side quest here. Over the past couple weeks, thanks in large part to what I can only attribute to super excited ADHD hyper-focus dopamine drip, because I'm just really excited about this project. I have sewn an 18th century quilted petticoat, 18th century jacket. I've actually patterned multiple jackets. I've patterned and made multiple corsets for like young teenage girls from Harper's Bazaar. And I've even made myself a brand new pair of stays. And that's because like the 18th century clothing is for the Brandywine Hobbit LARP Festival in October that myself and like Morgan and Nicole and Rachel Maxey will be there, and Hazriel will be there. Estrella's gonna be there. Vivian's gonna be there. Maggie's gonna be there. Like Chrissy too. A group of us. And like, I need stuff to wear and I'm just really excited about it. And like the corsets for the book that I'm working on, like I didn't film any of it. None of it. I took some photos obviously, but I didn't film any of it. And like, while at times I felt really guilty for not filming it, because I was like, oh my God, I could have made this a video. I could have made some money doing it. Blah, 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 blah. It felt so good to do it for myself. Do you want uppies? Do you want ups? Come on, Juji, come on up. Atta girl. And like, when I would feel guilty for like not monetizing my sewing, like I just like would tell myself, I would say, you know, self, behind the scenes work is valid and these pieces will benefit your career, even if it's not in a YouTube video. The way I view the Brandywine Festival is not only a chance to like meet people and to have outreach to community, but also to share my knowledge about like historic dressmaking and things like that. There's other benefits there that are not just like monetary, but I also need that sort of break to think about things like the book and other video ideas, and that it's really healthy actually to sit on the couch on a Saturday and sew on a pair of stays. And it doesn't have to be a video. I don't have to make a video about that. And honestly, like that's why I realize I don't really want to make like sewing content anymore, and at least not for like a while. Like I love making videos. I love doing this. I love scripting and filming and editing and figuring out camera stuff, and I want to do more stuff like that. But like when I make videos, I want to just be able to focus my creative energy there, like towards that job. I can't do both. Like I just can't. And it's literally taken me 5 years to realize this. Oh, I forgot my Crocs. I was gonna wear my Crocs so I don't give away my money makers for free. I'm not gonna put them in sport mode though.
Are they even going to be in the shot with the curtain?
I guess not. Like, it's taken me 5 years to realize that making sewing videos, it's not for me. And sometimes, frankly, it feels too personal. I think it's kind of ironic, actually. One of the most incredible things doing YouTube for this long has taught me is like how to preserve my creative energy and how to prioritize it and protect it. With that, my friends, like as an almost 40-year-old who has been monetizing her hobby for years now and has been a full-time content creator for 5 years, here is my final piece of advice for you guys. It is okay to make art for art's sake. It is okay to not monetize your art. Monetizing your art is not a symbol of success, and it's healthy to keep it as a hobby. You have to have rest days between workouts. A dried well or a dried out fountain, it's useless. And if you do want to make your hobby your job or a career, that's fine. You know, if that's what you really want to do, like do it, go for it. Set boundaries for yourself. Protect your physical and mental health. As a result, you will protect your creativity. You need to be able to escape from your job. So keep it in a different room. Set hard personal work hours and never, ever allow your sense of self or self-worth be tied up in the success of your business. They are not the same. Also, finally, don't spend thousands of dollars on online courses. Okay, guys, like they are usually scams. And like, if I was an absolute piece of shit, like this would be such a fucking brilliant segue to be like, hello, my brand new course, how to monetize your hobby with my 6-step process. You can be doing what you love as a way of business, and you can make 6 figures if you just pay me $3,997. Why is it always $7? Because it's a cult. And just make shit tons of money. That's a lie. It's a scam. Don't do it, friends. Why? Because they're never actually that useful. And frankly, anything you ever couldn't want to know about running a business, whether it's a creative one or a boring one, you can find that on YouTube for free, baby. So with that, my friends, thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you found this educational. I don't know, was this a video essay? Was this a rant? Was this just, I feel like, hello, how are we doing? Also, these pants, guys, like, hold on. Okay, one, I am like Rose from Golden Girls on top, and then like cool artsy fartsy Abby on the bottom. These are wide-legged silk palazzo pants from Quince. I am obsessed with them. They are like secret pants and they are so light and breezy. Oh my God. Elasticated back. They're literally like luxury sweatpants. I am obsessed. Obsessed. If I'm good, I will put a link. If I have not put a link in the description for these, someone comment and then I'll see it. Okay, love you, bye. Hold on, Judy wants to talk to you. Okay, come here. We're gonna tell everyone. So if you want to give BetterHelp a try, just use the link in my description below, betterhelp.com/Abby. Just use the link in my description below. It's betterhelp.com/Abby. I'm gonna do that again, MJ, because I can't remember if it's Abby or Abby Cox. Just go, if you want to give BetterHelp a try, just go to the link in my description below, betterhelp.com/Abby Cox, and you'll actually get a discount on your first month of therapy. Griffey needs therapy. You need therapy, buddy. You are an anxious buddy. Because not everyone has access to this many dogs for animal therapy.